as part of my introduction, I come from private sector. I've just joined the government about 6 months ago, and I was actually in investment banking, which is the other spectrum of startup ecosystem. So my understanding on startup is not necessarily as deep as yours or majority of the crowd who's sitting here. We are going through a very transformational time. As you all know, that the country has gone through a change, and we do have this once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to potentially change a lot of things that were just given for our ecosystem. Let's take examples like, very trivial examples, like trade license, which apparently is a very big challenge for young businesses to start doing business in Bangladesh. The questions that we really need to ask is not necessarily how we streamline the trade license process, but start from, do we even need a trade license? And if we do need a trade license, is it like a birth certificate that we give to a company only once in their lifetime and not have them go back to the city corporation every year to renew the trade license? I'm giving you a very, very trivial example, but that is how the baseline currently is. That is how low and deep we need to go into to ensure that we create an ecosystem that is much easier for businesses to operate. So BIDA's role generally, I see this year, is primarily to reform and fix the investment climate and fix these many problems that a startup or an ecosystem player has in starting a business and then potentially raising funding from the global markets. The other piece, which is part of what we're doing today with the help of ICT Ministry and Startup Bangladesh Limited, is potentially bringing in the investors in this country. A lot of times from my previous experience, what I've seen is once someone lands in Bangladesh physically and interacts with the community, interacts with the startups, interacts with our youth, the perception they had from desktop research dramatically changes. And that's what we need to probably continue to focus on as investment promotion agency for the government, is how do we create that bridge between the assets we have in country and the potential liquidity that's available globally. So that's the role I see BIDA taking this year and another next 12 to 18 months.
We have seen the number of foreign delegations and foreign investors who have been coming to the Startup Connect, to the Investment Summit, and we have heard very good reviews of how they're looking into Bangladesh and what are the perspectives that they're working on right now, or the main focus or priority. So when we talk about startups, we see that there's still a very strong gap between the early stage startups or even startups at different stages in order to reach the global audience. So do you think BIDA would be able to play a critical role in reaching out to the global audience? And is there any way, or does BIDA have that mandate to work with different kind of incubators, accelerators, universities, institutions, even research and development sites in order to strengthen this ecosystem? So what would be your take on this?
Well, I think it should be a question from me to you, not so from BIDA to the startup community, how we can help. So one of my biggest realizations in doing this government job for a while is we probably need to listen more as government.
Walton আবারো মিলিয়নিয়ার অফারে Walton ফ্রিজ কিনে আপনিও হয়ে যেতে পারেন মিলিয়নিয়ার।
I genuinely think the startup community is far more smarter than most of the average government official, including myself. And therefore, how to market startup is not an answer that I should be giving you, but you should be telling us. And you should be also telling us how you would like us to partner with you in spreading the news across the world. And we should just be following that narrative. So whether it's participating or partnering with you in global programs, whether it's looking at a startup's journey from start to finish and trying to figure out where government can intervene and support or use or become the mic for you to spread the message, that's something that we would actually like to hear from you. I genuinely feel that this whole attitude of prescribing what needs to be done in startup community needs to be reversed completely. So we are here for that. I think you've just heard from the same message, right? We are actually here to listen to you and listen from you. What do you think needs to be done? We've talked about many a times the whole idea of repatriation Bangladesh is the best example of Hotel California, where you can push money in and it's very hard to take it out. And that itself is one of the biggest challenges for an investor at any point in time. I just don't think that's something that we can hold on to. We have to come up with a better solution to that. So there are many things that we could potentially do to help the startup community to spread the message, but my genuine feeling is that that needs to be done in collaboration with startup community and based on the suggestions and ideas that come up from startup community. The government should always there be to help. The government does have limited resource. The government does have limited bandwidth, and therefore it is for us, the duty of government is genuinely to remove the hurdles for startup community so that they can excel, and we'll just be a partner to that excel journey.